Hi everyone, in this Framer tutorial we're going to create these content card animations with linear and circular scroll transforms. We can see the sticky section title card shows how far we scrolled in that particular section with both linear and circular progress animations. So let's get started. We have this section stack as specific pre-made element, which has our section and content cards under left and right stacks. I gathered the content of the section card under a stack, since when we make it a component, we need to have perspective and origin transform properties that I've added. Having those transform properties in our component is gonna help us animating our section card with a scroll section variable that we're gonna create, which makes our component easy to use and flexible. Top bar frame has our linear progress bar that we're gonna animate on scroll, and this circular frame with border wraps all the elements we need for our circular progress animation. The circle frame under it helps us rotating just this little circle with number without rotating the icon, since the icon needs to be centered in the outer circle frame without being animated. And of course we have this little circle with number that we're gonna rotate around the circle, and we have these numbers stacked horizontally from 0 to 100 in increments of 10. Let me select surrounding 2 frames and make their overflow visible to be able to see them. We're gonna slide them from left to right as we rotate the little circle, and the reason we have this extra frame wrapping the numbers is this one, rotating the inner frame in the opposite direction while we rotate the little circle to keep their rotation fixed in it while we slide them. And of course at the very bottom under circle frame in the layer stack, we have our material icon component that we center and has an absolute position. The only other element we have in the section card is the section title at the bottom. And on the right we have content card with a headline and the text element. We're gonna assign both of them to variables when we make content card a component. Let's start with the section card. So I will turn it into a component. In the component screen, first I will select the first frame under the top bar and add a scroll transform effect to it to create the linear progress bar animation with trigger section in view. Report should be at the bottom, and for section, since for each card we need to use its own section, we're gonna assign it to a variable. So I will click the section label and then click create variable. I'll leave its name as scroll section. Under from, I will make opacity and scale 1. For X offset, I will enter -440 to take it completely out of the card, and I'll keep everything as it is under toState. Since its X offset is already 0 here, it's gonna create the sliding effect for the bar. Then I'll go back to home screen, and first I will select 1 for scroll section under section card component properties to be able to test the scroll transform. And since we're gonna have 4 content cards in our completed design, I will duplicate the existing content card 3 times. Basically to be able to see our animation as intended. Now we can see the linear progress bar animation works as we scroll, right? To create the rotate animation, after going to the section card component screen, I will select the circle frame and add a scroll transform to it for our rotate animation. Trigger is gonna be section in view. Report should be set to the bottom, and to assign the section value to the variant we've created, I'm gonna hover over set variable and select scroll section we've just created. And under from, I will make opacity and scale 1, and under 2 I will enter 364 rotate. Then I will go back to home screen and test the effect. And we can see the circle is being rotated around the bigger circle as we scroll, right? But the issue with this animation is that the number 0 is also rotated. So to fix its position in the circle, we need to rotate it in the opposite direction at the same speed. So in the section card components screen, I will select the frame that wraps the numbers stack and add a scroll transform effect to it. Selecting section in view for trigger, bottom for the viewport, and again assigning the section to scroll section variant that we've created. Making opacity and scale 1 under from, and under 2 I will enter -360 rotate to rotate it in the opposite direction as I said. Let's go to home screen and check it, and as you see, during the circular animation, direction of the number 0 stays as it is, making it more readable, right? Now all we need to do is adding the slide animation for our horizontal stack of numbers. So after going to components screen, I will select the stack of numbers and add a scroll transform to them. Trigger is gonna be section in view, since this animation also needs to have same settings. Report should be at the bottom, and again I'm gonna assign section to the variable that we've created. Under from I will make opacity and scale 1. Under 2 we need to enter -295 for X offset to make sure that at the end of the animation we have the last number of the stack visible, which is 100. Then when we go to home screen and test our animation, we can see that we have our section card animation completed with the circle rotation and the numbers animation, right? The rest is just creating other variables for our section card component. So after going to the component screen, I will select the material icon and clicking its label name under its component properties. I'm gonna create a variable and name it icon. Then I'll select the text, keep it clear, and click the label content on the right panel and create a plain text variable and name it section title. The only other thing that we need to add to our component is the slight 3D tilt to improve the animation and the look. Again, using the section's own scroll section ID as trigger. So I will select the stack that wraps all the content of the card and add a scroll transform effect. With trigger section in view, viewport bottom, and again section needs to be assigned to the variable we created. From should have opacity and scale set to 1, and under 2 I'm gonna make scale 0.9, and I'll click 3D next to rotate, enter just 20 for X rotation. Let's go back to home screen. Now we can see the nice and subtle 3D tilt makes our animation even better, right? Let's create our content card component. Let's delete the other ones. Now we have the only content card with an inner stack, again for 3D transform purposes to keep our content flexible. So I will select the content card stack and make it a component. And in the component screen, I'll select the headline. Then I will click content under the text section on the right panel and create a formatted text variable, and I will name it simply headline. Then I'm gonna select heading 4 as style. Now we can select the other text element in our card. Again, clicking the content on the right panel. I'm gonna create another formatted text variable for it, and I'm gonna leave its name as it is. After going back to home screen, first I will add a scroll animation to our content card stack. Trigger is gonna be layering view, start is gonna be center, and I'm gonna click enter. Since enter and exit are locked together, the changes we make are going to be same for the exit settings. So under enter, I will make opacity 0.3 and scale 0.8. Clicking 3D next to rotate, I will enter 44x. Then I will duplicate the content card component 3 times and change their content using the variables. After that, I will add the remaining 2 sections and their content to see the complete result. In the meantime, enjoy the time lapse. we can preview the final state of our animation. And as our sticky section card gets animated, we can scroll our content cards with some nice appear animation. And thanks to the sticky positioning feature at the end of the section, our section cards also slide up. And we see the new sections elements, which certainly improves the experience while focusing on the content. I hope you liked the tutorial. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on, check my other tutorials, and see you in the next one.